Hello, everyone. Good evening to one and all present here, the ones who are here in the meeting and the ones watching on the YouTube live stream. We are back again with another session of our very own exclusive YouTube exclusive series, Winners Way. So, to give a gist about Winners Way, it is an initiative that invites students from institutions that secured citation and did a notable work in the past year trophies. So this time we are doing the Winners Way session for the annual NASA Design Competition trophy for the 66th year, and for the very same thing we have two entries over here uh, who won the citation. One entry was from Z205, Maulana Azad National Institute of Technology, and the other is from Z504, BMS College of Architecture. So I welcome all the winners in the meeting. Hello, everyone, and congratulations to each one of you.
Hi,
All right. So this year again for the 67th year, the work for annual NASA design competition has already been started in many institutes, and we've received good response for it. So all those who are working towards the trophy this year, this session will pave a way of how you can envision or how you can tackle your obstacles that you might find in your way while working towards the trophy. So one by one, we would be seeing the presentation from both the entries. And after that, we'll be opening the forum for questions to students as well who are watching on YouTube live stream via the chat box. So we can start with the presentation. I would want Z205 to present their sheets.
hi Rahul. This is a 205 unit secretary, Jogo Honorable. And now we are going to present our sheets. Am I, is the screen is visible, guys?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the screen is visible.
So let I would like to start this session with the starting with the brief. 66th year annual NASA design competition brief. So last year brief was a surprise for us, big surprise. We got uh, to do a one-on-one scale design project. Basically, I'll give you the brief within 2 minutes, a short briefing. Uh, Basically, we had to do a one-on-one scale project, which, according to the NASA or the brief, we had to build with discarded material. Basically, we have learned about, or we have heard about, reduce, reuse, recycle. We have learned, every architecture student and every uh, environment activate will tell about this, but don't put that three words into work. So we have to follow all our words, and we have to do something out of the box. So the brief is asking us to create a space or any structure that is done by discarded material or useless materials, so that we can give an example for the future generations or the present generation, so that we are not rather destroying the earth. We can use the materials which already we have. That was a brief. I would like to see Shreya Upadhyay, please answer. Shreya, you're mute.
Hi, everyone. So I'll start with the site selection journey. So when we began exploring for sites for this project, we looked at many options like a learning center at a library, but nothing quite resonated with this small slum community where this 9-year-old girl, Muskan, had created a makeshift library and she named it Kitabi Masti. And she started it in 2016 with minimal resources, and this library had quickly become a gathering place for that slum, and not just for education but for community events as well. And her commitment to providing a learning space for children despite the limited sources inspired us so deeply that we knew that our project could have a great impact for this place. And the justification, going for the justification of the site, we knew that choosing Muskan's library wasn't just a practical decision, it was also a meaningful one. This site allowed us to support her inspiring mission and enhance like a cherished space for this community. And by building here, we could amplify a young girl's vision, creating a space that would serve and uplift this community for years to come. And I think that our site selection reflects our commitment to supporting a community's dream and building something lasting and impactful. Thank you. Okay, so Mohita would go over with the site requirements and the problems.
Yeah, so during our in-depth site analysis, we uncovered a number of significant issues and limitations that we need to address in our design solution. So we came up with such issues like the existing building was constructed with flex board walls and a tin shed roof, resulting in non-permanent or temporary like structure. So, due to Bhopal's weather conditions, including strong winds and heavy rains, the boards got teared and sustained damage, which require necessity replacement approximately in every 6 months. And poor joinery of the flex material further allow water to seep in the interior of the structure, which compromises the interior and damage, accelerating the damage. The structured tin roof and the flex wall got heat up, which are inadequate for insulation and temperature control. During the summer, the tin roofs heat up interior significantly, and in the rainy season, water seep in from the roof or from the flex walls, which damages the stored book and affect the learning process. Additionally, the enclosed nature of the flex and the tin material limits the ventilation inside the structure. And we have seen certain security concerns that like the facade is only secured with an iron mesh, which has a very poor locking system, which allows intruders or vagrants to enter inside the structure. We face certain space constraint and insufficient furniture, like structure only offers confined space of 16 meters square, which is insufficient or for accommodating all the kids of the slum area, which results in overcrowding or difficult for them to sit and study properly. There was no proper furniture for the student to keep their books so that they can write or read properly. There was only a iron shelf. There was only a iron shelf for storing the books. We have seen the inadequate lighting and functional limitations, like the tin shed is not fixed properly, leading to the excessive natural lighting entering the interiors. The uncontrolled light created some glare, making it uncomfortable for the student to see the board or the projector to work. There was a projector available, but it is rendered unusual during the unusable during the daytime due to excessive light, and that created glare over there. Additionally, there was no proper chalkboard limiting, which limited teaching and learning convenience. So that structure doubles as a temporary pandals during Ganesh Chaturthi and Durga Puja. In these instances, the flex walls need to be completely removed, which to make space for the placement of large idols. This process was so labor intensive and disrupts the structure each time whenever this happens. So our design proposal prioritize the durable, weather-resistant material and improved climate control there.
Um, so, after spending the time on site and understanding the issues and challenges, we moved into the detailed research and the design phase, where our main goals was to find sustainable material and to create an innovative design. So, we focused on materials that are eco-friendly, affordable, locally available, and reusable. We also looked into the joinery techniques to make structure durable and easy to maintain. Our design was centered on the needs of the community, creating a space that's welcoming for gatherings as well as educational activities. So, by following the reduce, reuse, recycle principle, we show how waste materials can be turned into strong, beautiful structures that set a positive example for sustainable development. So going on about the key features, design features. So firstly, we built a strong permanent library that's safe and easy to maintain, especially important since it's the main learning space for the children living in the slum area. The structure had three solid walls and a foldable gate for security purpose, addressing the lack of stability and safety as seen in the previous temporary setup. Now, talking about the interiors, in order to save the floor space, we mounted tin boxes at different heights on the wall to provide to work as shelves, providing the much needed storage. We also extended the floor using a bamboo on one side to thus adding to the more space to the floor. So, an organized and open space that encouraged focused learning was created. Now, knowing that the library is also used for community as a community space, we made it adaptable for festivals like Ganesh Chaturthi and Durga Puja. It can be opened up into a pandal for gatherings with a high plinth that is used as a stage and the gates that fold open for easy crowd access. It can also be used as a projector room, allowing children to enjoy interactive learning sessions. Now, the structure was designed to handle Bhopal's harsh weather. We built strong walls and a hip roof designed to stand up to the winds and heavy rains. Terracotta tiles on the roof helped with the airflow and the natural cooling in the interiors, while perforated aluminium panels allowed for cross ventilation. So, keeping the space overall comfortable and more comfortable even in hot and humid climates.
So, continuing with what Sia said, let's start with the materials we incorporated in our designs and the joinery we incorporated in our designs. So, first of all these things were under the professional guidance. All of these things were selected under professional guidance. So, we'll start with the roofing part. We opted for vernacular style to promote better air circulation. The funder was ki the air circulation and sound insulation was very wrong there. So we incorporated terracotta tiles that were sourced from that were not locally sourced, but eventually most of the materials were locally sourced, and we had to go for some materials for a long purpose. So terracotta tiles were interlocked in a system, and the weight of the terracotta tiles were not efficient enough, so the structure can take it. So we incorporated hollow rectangular steel sections as they can handle the weight well, and we also incorporated some L sections in the facade area so that they can also provide for additional support. Next, we can see that steel jali. So the steel jali was actually a prior structural component. We reused it as a material for the debris wall. Additionally, the debris wall was uh, covered with acoustical panels to provide sound insulation. So that was that for the back wall. And then we continue with the right wall. The right wall included these tin boxes that were adjacently welded. So yeah, so they were customized into bookshelves for increasing efficiency as a medium of storage for bookshelves. So coming that was for right wall. Coming to the facade, we had wooden doors. The wooden doors were taken into account with a forum that the structure is also used for community gathering space during special occasions and festivity. So we were thinking that it would be better to make the space more accessible and keeping the facade open. So we opted for fully openable doors for the facade, and these air angles were also added in the facade only to create additional support for the terracotta tiles for the roofing. Next, we go for the left wall. The left wall was basically made up of normal doors. These doors uh, were a part of additional interior walls, and then we incorporated these nylon sheets. These nylon sheets were a much of a work. They were like created as a design element there. So these were there for material part. Coming forward to the joinery. So the joinery part, we start from roofing again. So steel framework was basically joined with bamboo purlins. That was there for sustainability purpose. The steel framework was done, and the interlocking of terracotta tiles was there to manage stability. Like we had to stabilize the terracotta tiles. They were in an angle of 45 degrees, so they were like they can be hurried up and they can like ruin the structure also. So the weight management, that was very necessary to uh, for steel framework to be a good stabilized state. Next, we come again with the tin boxes. The tin boxes were welded to keep them together in a manner to stabilize them and create a space for students to incorporate bookshelves. So bolting for steel frames. There were many steel frames in the facade also, and through the doors they were also there was bolting. The doors were used as wall behind the origami. They were also bolted. So these bolted were all done in the framework only. The framework was from steel hollow sections. Bolting between the sheets and the hollow sections was also done from the same facade, and that was also done from bolting only. Connections of hinges, and so we come to the facade part. The doors were basically rotate in a rotating manner, so they were used with the rotating hinges. So to make the space more accessible and the door to keep the front open.
Coming to the material, already we have seen about the materials used and joinery. So I would like to tell how we acquired the materials and from where we got the majority of the materials, and now we did the funding as well. So coming to the materials, from the roof, the Kavelu roof, where we had to go for the nearby city, that is uh, nearby Bhopal outskirts. When we went for like many clinics and what they'll say villages where we can get cheaper Kavelu or other roofing materials. So we got to get an recycled, I mean the second hand Kabelu, which are or discarded, and they are selling for very cheap price. So we got it for each Kabelu around 2.5 to or 3 rupees, around one Kabelu, and we bought in a bulk, so we got much cheaper. And the most of the steel frames, steel we used was already from the existing framework, we don't want to disturb the existing framework, and we thought better the walls from the steel which we get from the flex walls and the mesh and the steel which is was used for the protection of the structure. We reuse the whole steel, and we made the walls or the columns through it, and we bought some new steel. So didn't want to compromise with the strength and uh, the flexibility of the structure, so we bought some new steel as well. And most of the tin boxes and the jali, which is at the which is used as a Gabion wall. The half of the jali was used from the mesh where we already have it, and the tin boxes were from the nearby local market where they sell dry fruits. We went and asked them for the boxes, and we got it for really like very negligible. And we went for debris. We went out throughout the city, so where we can get some useless materials, like they throw the debris and the other panels, or there is a whole city market in the Bhopal where we can get or second-hand doors or windows, so that we can get material. So we explored a lot, and we got much materials. And most of while we are funding, and we have when we're searching for people where we can get help. A few people came to us and said they would like to help us, and they gave their useless material. One of the doctors we have mentioned in the video, he gave us debris, and a few members gave us the tin boxes, and some members gave us the doors as well. So for the bifolding doors, we used 4 doors, and the wall for the walls we have used 5 doors. Uh, and total our budget went around 43,000 to 45,000 approximately. And if at all we would have been gone in a conventional way, and we could have been built with our own money, it could take us around 2.5 to 2.8 lakhs. So around 80% of the uh, uh, cost is cut down, and we have successfully used the discarded materials to construct a beautiful library for them. Thank you.
So all in all, it was a very interesting competition, I'd say. Assemblage being the theme for that year, I believe that was justified very well. And because in every aspect, rather, be it materials, be it teams, human management is very difficult. And we know as now we have worked on site, being students, this was our first experience, maybe our first proper experience to work on site. So now we know this is a very interesting, maybe difficult at times. We also tend to give up at times, but then that's where the team kicks in, and then it gives you a push to work. So throughout the process, it was like a roller coaster ride indeed. And assemblage has been an integral part of the competition throughout, be it materials, be it teams, be it incorporating needs as well as the design inputs or aesthetic preferences. So yeah, Umla, we've learned a lot. Definitely, we've learned a lot, and using using used materials, using scrap materials is another way more difficult. Well, not difficult, but it is a bit trickier to use instead of newer and conventional materials. So we've learned a lot of new techniques, and we've also learned how to conserve and maybe build sustainably. There are some practices which we can use in place of some conventional practices as well. So yes, throughout the competition, it was a brilliant experience for us as a team and for others, the community as well. We somehow managed. Fortunately we managed to cater all the needs, and yes, they are using it till date. It has been more than a year, and they are thoroughly enjoying it. The students, the community. So yes, it was a successful attempt, and thanks to NASA as well for giving that platform to us where we could explore and we could experiment. So yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, team. That was a very well and very crisp elaboration onto your process and how you work to achieve towards your goals in this trophy. In tandem to what Neil said, actually, I really wanted to know what pushed you guys to actually participate in ANDC, because we've had a little different approach last year. And ANDC being hands on and being students of architecture, I'm very sure you guys also have a lot of work to deal with, your college assignments, other things. So, what was that nudge, or what push you got from? Was it from someone else, or was it something else that motivated you? Something, few key takeaways maybe you thought that you can take away by participating in such hands-on trophy. So what was that point, or what motivated you basically for it?
Honestly speaking, would like to thank our seniors, especially my our coordinator, ma'am, Priyasthi Tiwari, ma'am, and our seniors who helped us a lot. Because normally when it was like starting, we had a lot of trouble because we couldn't got any site, or we are not going in a proper way regarding the trophy also. So we are struggling initially for site or materials or anything. So all of us, we were a good team of around 50 members. but we couldn't get a proper way, or till 15 days we were just at the 0 point, and we are not getting anything. So but the only thing which kept me or us together would be our college, or us as a 205. I would definitely tell it, because it was like uh, a point where we thought to leave it because it was already too late to start. But we thought we'll definitely give it a try and we'll not give up. And that's what pushes me and my unit as well.
Okay, well, that's great to hear. Yes, Neil, you had something to add?
No, I was just saying, basically, the answer to that might not be even for everyone. For a may vary. And maybe that, so basically, I think for me, at least personally, the point when the structure or your project is about to finish, and then you can see it shaping up actually, all the hard work put in, all the struggle, hard work, and brains put into the project. And then after the struggle of maybe 1.5 months for this project, when it is finally shaping up and then you see things popping out, things coming to shape, you're really content about it. And in our video as well, the community we built it for, there was an Asian old man. So he mentioned in the video that कि मतलब आपने बिल्कुल हमारे लिए ये ताज महल है. So that feeling when you know you've catered to people's lives, you've made it better for them. So that feeling is quite, I don't know, maybe that's a drive. That's a very good drive for us.
Okay, that's good to hear that the impact that ANDC has been creating on society, that ANDC has created the impact on society last year and the following years to come. So it's really good to hear such reviews from people of how these trophies built by students is impacting their lives on daily basis. So again, while working for the trophy, as you guys already mentioned about materials, there was a few strict criterias of using few sustainable materials or using discarded materials. So were there some particular challenges that you faced in procuring these materials, if any instance you can recall?
Um, I recall one moment, like, so we had this one thing that that was creative of us to use in terms of like a waste material, that was using the debris and the um, what would you call it, the demolished structure as a part of the Gabion wall. So I remember when we were collecting the debris and everything, so we were just students and we had to like take up the shovels and everything and we went to the site and worked alongside the people, like on one side the laborers were constructing a building and we had went along with all the taslas and everything to collect the debris for our Gabion wall and stuff. So yeah, that was fun. We used to like go around on our scooties or bikes uh, to search for like different types of creative waste materials that we could find. We would go around grocery stores asking for waste materials that they could provide us, or would go around looking for random scrape yards where things are not that used. So yeah, that was fun. That was like a bonding experience as well as something that like kindled our creativity in some sorts.
Okay. So in this meet, we also have our 67th year trophies at Tanuja with us, along with 67th year Zonal President Zone 5 Likit. Hi Tanuja, hi Likit. If you guys have any questions in particular, you can ask.
Hi guys, winners. So yes, I think most of the things are already covered. You've spoken about your experience, you've spoken about materials, you've spoken about the intention that was set at the beginning itself. So one major question I had from all of this is, so We have a lot of competitions, but most of them are unbuilt. So last year ANDC was hands on. It was building structures, not just, the design was not just left on sheets. What is your opinion on the hands on trophy that was, there last year? How was it different than the ANDC previous to that year where it was, not hands on? I mean, it is participants, of course, that reviews are more important. It is your experience that will matter a lot. Yeah. Who would like to go first?
Hi, Tanuja. Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, for that, the biggest difference which I saw was a change. A change that means in our experience, learning, a change in a life as well. What can I say? Because coming to the learning part, uh, as the conventional trophies or any other design trophies, where we stop the design process on the sheets or complete everything in the sheets, and there we can imagine stuff, or we can create whatever we want to, or any hypothetical, or we can go crazy as in. But coming to the one-on-one scale, or something we have to build on site, things get different. There are certain ways where we have to follow some safety measurements, or we have to follow some professional uh, advices, and we have to take really good care of minute details as well. So because if at all we are building something, it should be serving for at least a quite number of people. So we have to take care of every aspect of them, like safety, their interest, and not everything. So that things got changed very much, very much, because when we sit and take design in the paper on everything, we list down every proximity chart, or all those things. But when it comes to site and working on site, it's another level. And dealing with people as well, we have to work with a big group of people. We have to work 3 shifts, and we have to manage every bit of time, where we have to manage classes, exams, and our on-site work as well. That is the biggest change, difference which I have seen. And another change is we got to change a life. I mean, the Muskan's library, before and after. It's been an year. Last before on 30th September, we went and celebrated its anniversary over there. We were really happy on the day. I really felt a proud feeling, where our college students and our batch and our senior batch changed something in their lives, where a girl is struggling. Muskan has a very good story. She already had a good recognition. Many NGOs recognized her. They gave awards, everything. But they what was the problem was there they were treating her as an asset. So we were like, we have to help her. We have to change something where the people in the slums are facing. She started a library when she was very at an age of 11 or so, and she is now 17. But still she is struggling. Many people came, gave their awards, but still she was in the same slum. Then I got to I got an same example, where we see an incident, then we feel bad, and we just share all those things in the WhatsApp, or keep the status and leave it. We don't bother about the next day. Same, but we got an opportunity to change her life as well. The people life, where they want a space where to learn, and she want to teach. That would be the biggest thing, which would be the difference between the normal trophy and this trophy. So that is the reason this is also the reason which pushed us to do the trophy as well.
So we could safely say that setting the right intention can be like a driving force. Okay, I think I have a follow-up question. So, you tell us your two key learnings from the last year that you think will be very helpful for students who are participating this year? Maybe your mistakes, the things that you figured out, anything. Majorly two.
Time management.
Okay.
First thing, time management. And because I'll give you the reason for this, because we had to submit our submission. I mean, we had to submit the ANDC trophy in the middle of our mid exams, and we were not ready with the video as well. So that could cost us a lot. So we couldn't. We completed the structure before 2 days. I mean, on maybe I think 31st September was submission day, around 6 o'clock, 6 in the evening. We completed on 28th September. So we had only 2 days to compile all the video and all those things. And not only that, in middle of the exams, we were. I mean, we were detained from the exams, few exams, because we couldn't attend the classes. So if at all, if I see we are doing pretty well this time, according to me. So time management would be the first thing which should be taken care of. And secondary thing, it could be uh, managing people as well, because if you're working with a group of people on site who are your friends, not your colleagues, or for any particular reason you're just working for a design trophy. So there'll be different ideas or different thought process behind every person. You have to take care of every single thing. You have to know people. You have to take care of every idea. If at all, if there are introverts or so as well, because even small idea can change the whole trophy. So we have to go with these two things only. You have to deal with time management, and human management. These are the two things which I learned last year. Hopefully, we are doing this year.
Hopefully, hopefully. Yeah, I think that's all from my end. Rahul and Likhit, you have any questions to ask? You can take it forward.
I think most of it is covered from your end. Nothing from my side.
Yeah, likewise, nothing from my side. I think the presentation was pretty much detailed out and it covered everything. So did our questions. So thank you so much, Z205, for your presentation. It was lovely. And again, congratulations to each one of you for winning the citation. Next up, we'll start with Z504. So you guys can start presenting and explaining.
Hi, is the screen visible? Hello?
No, I guess.
It's not.
No,
Only
it's not.
some.
Not yet.
Yes.
Yeah, we can see.
Oh, okay, I'll start.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, so good evening. I'm Shreya Krishnappa, and our project Garuda Vahana was based in Bangalore, in Baswangudi. So, coming to our site selection, our site location, it's located in a public park right next to a National College metro station. So, in the public park, there was an abandoned bus and an auto left behind. So, how we came across the site is that so in and around Baswangudi, there's a weaving community where children walk around. They come to the park to play, obviously, and we noticed them playing with the abandoned bus, which has sharp edges, and the abandoned auto left behind there. We were told that the vehicles were left behind there for as a display aspect, but it wasn't maintained well, and the bus as it acted like a covered area, it was also prone for unnecessary illicit activities and things like that. That's what we observed. So our major focus was on fixing this issue, and our user group became the children of Baswangudi, mainly from the weaving community and the public that visits the park there. So other than that, the other issues we faced there was it since it's a public park, it wasn't a safe space for children to come and be using abandoned vehicles with rusted edges and sharp edges and things like that. So our aim was to increase interaction within the community and create a safe and nurturing environment. So uh, our aim also was to recondition the current unused state of the site to give a purpose and meaning to the mentioned user group. And Priyatam can explain the design process now.
Yeah. Hello. Can you go to the second sheet? Yeah. So first we started with the typical analysis, view, noise, all of that. But before that, one thing I'll tell is the site itself. I'll talk about the permission that we had to get this site. For any teams which are still in this phase. So for us, what we done is first we went to quite a few sites, around 4 to 5, almost other than just one, which was a probable. All of them like were basically like no, come later, come later. We're not really sure. So for this one, the process itself to get this site took us almost 30 to 40% of the entire time. Yeah, just something I wanted to mention. So anyway, the analysis, if you can see here, so the bottom side or the on the main road, there's a lot of noise, but there's quite a lot of foot traffic here. So there'll be quite a good view. So any redevelopment that we do to this park, it'll be like quite a from the metro station till there's quite a few colleges nearby. All of them will be able to view it clearly. So our main user group was for the children, but and as well as the adults and the parents who accompany them. So the bus itself, we use that as a play area. But outside the bus next to it, we also redeveloped the place. We added seating and things like that. The main general theme that we went for is uh, since there was a metro right next to it, there was this abandoned bus, an abandoned auto. We went with the idea of vehicular waste. So now, how the brief was to have sustainable materials with almost no cost. And we had this site-specific context. So our challenge was how do we respect this site and find specific material that is needed for it. So outside the bus, we wanted to make a sort of pavilion structure for the seating itself. This area was almost 100 square feet, 100 square meters, sorry. So 1,000 square feet. So what sort of material that is reusable is needed for 1,000 square feet that is also almost next to no cost and sustainable at the same time? So after quite a while, after figuring out what to do, we went through quite a lot of variations. We went through PVC brick, PVC pipes. We had some idea with mycelium stuff. So what we had is in the ending, we ended up with auto fabric. So this auto fabric, every auto every 1 to 2 years, what they do is our city has just one area which is a famous repair spot for all the autos. So they go there, the fabric is removed, stored aside, and this is just thrown. They don't really reuse it. There is no possible way, but it is actually quite a durable material that will last for quite a few more years. So every alternative night, we went to this area since it was not available in bulk. So whatever autos came the last 2 days for repair, we used to go there, take it, store it, keep it aside, go over the process of maybe 1 to 2 weeks. We kept on doing this, and over time we gathered enough material. In that itself, we had to sort out few parts were not enough. So this fabric, it's called rexine. It's a type of tarpaulin. So this was the main key element of our project. And then for general purposes, the wood that we need for staircases, this bus floor had quite a lot of holes. It was many places were rusted with things fallen out. So what we did is we found a shop that was renovating. So they had quite a lot of wood materials that were going to be just thrown away. So we managed to get these doors, furniture elements, and all these sort of things. And the remaining few bits, just nails, tools, is all that we needed. So the key cost of this project was just paint, tool bits, nails, and just basic things like that. And another main cost was cement, white cement. So this since there's quite a lot of rusted elements, this project had a different, unique aspect. A lot of since kids will be playing in this place, the edges have to be rounded. Any cut and there's a risk of tetanus. So that was also quite a consideration. Then, uh, in this park itself, the the park also had like general infrastructure issues. The footpath had parts of it missing. There was a big dip in it. Uh, quite a lot of it was dirty. That itself took us some 2 to 3 days. When we started construction, we did not expect like the scale and timeline of this project. Just fixing a small dip in a footpath took us almost some 3 days. So to any teams who are still in like the design phase, the design cycle, what we recommend is go to a site if you have got it already and just start off with a few things, because you will if this is your first time, like how it was for us, you will not understand how long things actually take while constructing. It took us a ridiculous amount of time to actually get to a few things. Anyway, few more elements. Yeah, can you go down a little bit? We also found a little bit of metal waste in our college itself. There were a few metal windows that were thrown aside. We managed to get that, and we made a few elements here and there. We made a ladder. The auto that was there, we painted that, made it into a photo booth. There was a fallen dead tree. We turned that into a hammock. We used tire seating. We got a lot of second-hand tires and transformed them into seating. Then interior elements. Ankita, do you?
For the interiors, mostly for the bus, it was very like dangerous for the kids who are playing there to just enter that bus. It was like dangerous for even us. So we started off with firstly cleaning everything up. So all the broken glass elements and everything that was like poking or like like sticking out, we kind of removed everything. And for the flooring, we had everything covered with mosaic tiles. So we used like waste tiles and we put them as like a mosaic flooring. And after that, we also added a few like fun elements for the kids who were coming into play. So one is we used tic-tac-toe. So we made this with paint cans. So we painted X and O and we put it on like the bus. And also we had a photo booth. So in the front of the bus, we had like the photo booth put up. And also there were a few other things that we also did. Like for example, we took like old tires and we put them up with like tin aerosol cans, like which were waste. And when they spun around, they made like a good noise. And we also had like tire seating that we made. So one important thing to consider for anyone who is starting ANDC work is to work along with the site. So the site gives you a lot of things to work with, and you should get started on the like actual design part of it. Like go to the site, start working as soon as possible, because as you start working on that, you start realizing that you can do so much more with the site. Yes.
Okay, so I'll talk about the execution part of it. So apart from your design and your actual construction, there's a lot of other deliverables which you need for ANDC, like say your sheets and your video. So what we did was basically divide the team into different segments. So you have like your design and construction team, which will work on site, and keep a few people for the graphics and video. Because in the end, once the construction is done, there's very less time to figure out all the sheets and video. And I think that was one thing which we felt was more efficient. So the graphics part can be done simultaneously. So as you get your site, start working on your sheet composition, how you want to present it, because at the end, that's what you need to submit. Apart from that, coming to the video, so what we did for the video was clearly divide the process into different parts, say like site selection, the narrative of the video, what was the main issue in the site. So you highlight the main points and make it very catching so that anyone watching the video should get a clear picture of the site and the problems. And then you have your material. So how exactly did you get your material? So you have like some interviews with your with whoever you got it from, how did you source your materials, and the construction part. So just having it more organized makes it easier and better to understand for people. So that was one thing which we would suggest. So till you're designing and brainstorming part, you can do it as a team, but after that, it's better to organize the team into different divisions.
So what I would also like to say is we initially started it as a standard competition. ANDC, it happens every year. So we went into that way. So when we got the brief and we realized we had to build it 1:1, we just didn't had no idea how to go ahead with it. We approached it in a standard way, but as we started after the process of getting the site and everything was over, so the community itself, the kids that were present, like slowly over time, like we went beyond the competition itself. Like we didn't make things just for the competition. The like many of the interior elements, a lot of it was like we talked with the kids itself. So we there was a slide that we included that we weren't even planning to, but half of them were like, we want a slide, we want a slide. So so we went with what they wanted. Uh, so that like was like quite different. It was quite a different competition from your standard just sheets basis. And when we were doing this, the area itself, many families came over and they told like we're doing such a good job. In fact, another an auto guy, he was an association member. He said he also liked what we were doing and he helped us a little bit with getting the material itself. So overall, it was like quite an enriching experience. It was very different from the standard competition. And I'm pretty sure our entire team, the amount of experience, the actual real life experience of like getting permission and actually constructing with our own hands, it was quite a different experience. So, I think that's about it. Yep. Thank you.
Yes, understood. I think it was dissected very well. Every point is well spoken. I think we've covered the design part of it, the intention was covered, and then you spoke about the execution part as well. And then I think Ankita told about how to go, with the competition. I mean, focusing on site as everything. I think all of them are pretty much covered. It's well explained, guys. But I do have a follow up question. So at the end, Priyatam, you mentioned that it's almost like a live project for you guys. You're working along with the users. So generally, when we are as architects, when we are executing or planning, we definitely do have the user group in mind, but we do not have them every day telling us what to do. So how difficult or how easy or whatever the experience of it was managing expectations of all the people around you, who are going to be the users of it in the future. But again, how was it like sticking to the core idea? How did you make the balance?
So of course, so I'll talk about the kids themselves. So any elements that smaller things that they wanted, like the slide, for example, we tried our best to include it. But another thing is, a lot of these kids keep climbing the bus. At one point, we were thinking, do we provide a proper access and have a safeguard? But we realized that would be too hard to do. So I believe this year the brief is about to attach with an NGO and go over the project. Basically, I would say the way is to find a medium point. What is possible and like what parts, safety issues or execution issues, you'll have to pick and choose what you have to go ahead with.
Yes, got it.
I think to just add to that, add to what Priyatam said, uh, your question was more of how did we manage the expectation of all the people or the user group who's gonna use that space. I think that was more of an advantage of us once because when we asked people what they want, and that is also reflected in the video which will be playing. You can watch that. When we started asking and when they explained us, I think that was more of an advantage rather than uh, taking a pressure or a load that, oh, how do we meet their expectation. Instead of going in that way, I think that was more of a helpful thing for us. So I think we took that in a positive note, and we started our design process. So it that was not really a huge issue, I would say.
And I think you didn't take it as expectations. Yeah, I think the way you went about define the whole way, the trophy or the competition turned out for you guys. Rahul, do you have any questions?
Okay, so again, as Tanuja mentioned, everything was dissected very well. One thing while working on such type of trophies, we were expecting to be it in a public domain, right? So once we get out, we try to search for a site or a location where we want to build a project. So what were the challenges that you felt that you got while getting permissions or maybe selecting a site? Because a lot of times people are also people think that as a student nothing good might come out of it, so getting permissions sometimes becomes a little difficult also. So how did you guys deal with it?
So
So
for
when
this
we were
project, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
So when we were talking to the MLA when we were pitching our idea, he mainly asked us for the SWOT analysis, and when we mentioned that, he got a little bit of hope that we there could come out, there could be some good outcome out of this. And since there was already illegal activities and a lot of people used to use that space for sleeping during the night, and other drug uses and all of that, so I think somehow when we mentioned all the points of the SWOT, mainly the threats and the weakness, and how we're going to transform that space while by opening up the spaces in the bus, that's when I think he agreed to it. So it wasn't more of it was not that challenging in terms of convincing them, because we analyzed the SWOT, the threats there mainly, and we came up with solutions to it. So I would say that.
And our process, like we didn't have any influence or something. We went to our local corporator, the ward's local corporator, pitched the idea to him. He then set up a meeting with the MLA of the area. We then went ahead with a proposal, what we were planning to do. He was enthusiastic about it. The students are coming and doing something. So, like he read through a pitch and like Warren explained, we just had to present our project, and after that, it was fine. It took a while, but it is possible. Anyone can do. You don't need anything special, anything specific. As long as you go through the process, it's fine.
Okay, so as important as it to analyze everything in with regards to site, getting having a good solution in your hands comes a little handy while going about such public domain or taking asking seeking permissions, basically what you meant, right? Okay, so it's has been exactly about a year since the 66th year ANDC trophy. So now, when you look back at it, your design or something, or maybe the process, do you feel that something or the other, in some instances or in some situation, you could have dealt it in a better way? Are there a few things that you feel?
What I would say is, yeah, in the starting, we sat on the design phase for a little while, and then in the construction phase, we kept cycling through a few ideas instead of just going ahead and executing it, and then like seeing as it goes along. We A lot of delays happened that shouldn't have, and then on the ending, many things piled up, which was quite hard to handle. So what we would say is, once a part of it is working, once your general theme and concept is fine, I think people should go ahead with it with their idea instead of continuously cycling through the same thing.
I think one thing we also felt was to keep the deadline in mind. You just keep working and the ideas keep flowing and you keep doing things, but then you forget the fact that it is a competition at the end of the day and there is a deadline and you have to meet certain requirements. So you need to keep that in mind and like organize yourselves, even as a team, divide yourselves or work as a group, whatever works for you and your project, and figure things out a little earlier and just go and finish things. And if you feel that there's a block somewhere, something, just don't like get stuck with it and like try to finish other things and just come back to it when it goes. Like it will happen at the end of the day. Like it's something as similar to our architecture sheets. Like you will panic about it, but somehow get it done by the end of the day. So it's just like focus on like the deadline as well. That's very important.
All right. So that was about from my end. Likit, do you have anything?
Yeah. So you guys mentioned about certain deadlines and timelines and everything. So just to be very clear, so how did you manage things from the start, like the cooperator, the MLA thing, then the design part, then the construction part? Did you guys fix upon any certain deadline or a timeline? And in the end, just before like 2 or 3 days, what was the environment you guys were in? Like was the video done, was the sheets done, and could you just explain it to all of us, because the ones who are trying it for the first time, who are doing this trophy this time, will get an idea how to proceed with certain things.
One thing that I think we did right is, from the very start itself, a few people for the video and a few people for the sheets were thinking on it from quite a while beforehand itself. Because the last 2 to 3 days, you cannot sit and decide everything at once. So a small set of people, like what was happening, the palette, the design choice, composition, few things were started beforehand. So this setup that we did before really helped us later on. We didn't have to, like, the entire team of 20 people doing one thing, flow after flow, would not be efficient. So while construction was happening, few people were getting started with the video and a few people were getting started with the sheets. So we think that was efficient for us.
And also, like, the video is a part of the submission, and the sheets are a part of the submission. So I feel like sometimes if you're too focused on the side, the design, you forget to like do these things. So that's something that should kind of be avoided. That's what I feel.
So, if we had to break down the 45-day timeline for the trophy, so could you give us roughly how many days, what all works happened?
Um, okay, so first 5 days or so was just organizing the team itself, coming up, everyone meeting, thinking how to go ahead. Then another, I would say 10 days almost, not even 10 now. I believe almost 2 weeks went into just site and permission. Like it was quite hard to get that permission for our team specifically. After that, this construction started. We had quite a bit of a roadblock in between. So some materials we were had a source that might have come, but that in between went away. So we had almost a week's delay of construction. So almost like till, I believe, 3 days before the deadline, we managed to finish the construction. And then the setup that we had before for graphics and video, they managed to finish that part. So if I had to brief, 5 days for team setup, 10 to 15 days for the site, general design, getting that organization, 15 days for construction, and then last 5 days for the sheets and videos.
Yes, understood. So, I have the same question that I asked the previous citation people as well. So, can you tell us your two key learnings other than time management and human management that you feel is extremely important?
I think one of the key learnings was that this time we had to make a 1:1 scale model. So, focusing like as an architecture students, I think we are very disconnected from the industry, which the construction part of it. It's very different from sitting in a studio and designing versus actually going out there and handling all the estimation and costing and the execution of the project overall. So I think that is one of the key things which we learned, that how to not just just sit down and design or ideate the entire process, but also look into practically more of practicality part of it, and how to actually execute the design and bring it more to life. Is that is one of the key aspects which we learned, I would say.
The iterations that we had before and the value engineering that we had to do to actually execute the project was quite a different thing. So yeah, the actual what we design and what we can execute is very different. So that was a quite a big learning that we had.
Okay, so one, I take it that the connection that you could possibly form with the theoretical learning and then the practical doing. I think that's one major key takeaway that you both together have vouched about. So I think that's all from my end as well. I do not have any other questions. I think it was well put, well elaborated, and at the same time, every aspect is covered, as I said before as well. So yeah, I think if you guys have any final words about your experience to sum all of this up, I think you can go ahead with that.
I just want to like point out one observation, like even from our competition and even for the like upcoming competition. One thing I've seen is like people who want to take part in the competition like back out because you're intimidated by the scale of it. Like you have to make a model which is like 1:1 scale. You have to make sheets, you have to make videos, but just go and do it, because there's no other way to learn. Like you might fail, you might not understand, you might find it difficult, you might have like roadblocks, but they're all part of a journey and you're going to learn a lot. So like whoever feels like, oh, like this is going to be hard, I don't want to like take part in this competition this time, like just do it, because these are the times when it's like you have that ability. Like as a student you can fail and you can learn, which is not something you can really do when you're an architect. So this is the time to like explore and learn, so just do it. Even if you're intimidated, just do it. So that's something I want to tell everyone who wants to take part in this competition.
Well, thank you, Ankita. I think that was very well spoken, and I think you pointed out the one major issue that students generally have. Yeah, definitely, there is this fear about going on building one is to one hands on in with the existing academic calendars. But I think we have to take that step forward to do something or to make something out of it. That is how we learn. Most definitely agreed. I think we shall thank both the citation winners for being here and telling us your experience. And then you've dissected the whole trophy experience. I think every aspect of it has been very well covered. I think one citation has paved their way into it, and one made possible with whatever they could. I think their key takeaways could be one, as I've as spoken about, that learn everything and decide everything with the site, and the other was very intention based, which was driven for them, which drove them to complete competition. Well done, guys, and of course, hearty congratulations and well deserved winners, of course. Rahul, you can take over.
Yeah, yeah. As we again conclude the session, again, a heartful thanks to all the participants of last year's who participated and contributed greatly towards the success of the trophy. And again, this year we're looking forward to looking at your beautiful entries again. So all the best to all the participants again who are doing and participating in ANDC Trophy. So we shall conclude the session now. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
everyone.
Thank you.